What's good, everybody? This is Louis Colon. We are here at Bodega NYC for the sit down. This is a special sit down. And Alex, can you introduce yourself and introduce our guest today?
I'm Alex, co-founder of Bodega NYC, and we're here at 321 4th Avenue, Park Slope, Brooklyn. And today, in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, we have a special guest, one of many for this coming month, a good friend of mine as well, I must put that out there, soon to be potential colleague, Vikiana Reyes. Say hello to everybody, Vicky.
Hello, everyone.
For everyone to know, Vikiana is the program director for cannabis education at Medgar Evers College at the CES department, and also founder of Legacy Core. Do you want to tell everybody what the CES department is and what Legacy Core is all about?
Sure. So at Medgar Evers College in the CES department, the Chemistry and Environmental Science department, we have the only bachelor's pre-med degree program in cannabis science for all of CUNY and for all of the state of New York. Legacy Core is a non-for-profit. We are partners with Medgar Evers, and we do a lot of entrepreneurship, mentoring, business building, and we are now we are now going to be in 2026 operating a 125,000 square foot building in East New York.
Congratulations.
We work very hard for this. In partnership with Brisa Builders, Grow Brownsville, and University, we will be operating this massive space for East New York to be the first green economy, entrepreneurial, and educational hub for New York. Specifically East New Yorkers, come on down. There we will have a mix of education, entrepreneurship, makerspace for different sectors of the green economy. But in addition to that, we'll have space for licensed micro business holders and processors to be able to execute their own entrepreneurial activities within licensed capabilities of New York State.
Amazing.
Yeah, amazing. And that's going to roll out 2026. Okay.
And we're going to have a series of different accelerators. Hopefully you guys will be in the classroom talking to some of our students and teaching them as well.
Looking forward to it, definitely.
But we're very excited. Right now we are raising the remaining funds for the hub. We've already raised $7 million. We're raising another, hopefully 10, hopefully by the end of this year, so that we can be operational by 2026. We've been working for about 4 years on this project.
Got it.
For the RFP. So it's really been a very big team dynamic.
Okay, nice. And how was your summer, by the way? I know you're just getting back from a long layoff.
I was in the Dominican Republic.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
So here you have a Puerto Rican, a Cuban, and a Dominican. We all bring our heritage and our family and our lifestyle and our culture to the table. Tell us a little bit about your upbringing, where you're from, where's the family from in La República. Tell us a little bit.
I was born here in Brooklyn, New York, Bushwick, pre-gentrification. Gotta say that.
BG, you gotta add BG now.
And when I was born here, my mom said, "Tú no te vas a quedar aquí. Tú no vas a perder tu cultura aquí." And she sent me to the Dominican Republic before I turned even like 2. And so from the years of 2, 3, 4, 5, back then they didn't have pre-K and they didn't have like that K, you just go straight into like first grade.
Right.
For like 4 or 5 years, I didn't live here. I was living in Santo Domingo, in La Capital, with my grandma, with my aunts. My mom would come and go, but myself and my sister, we were really raised our infant years in the Dominican Republic. So when I got back here...
Where exactly? What?
In La Capital. It's called El Distrito Nacional. That's near
that's
where
in
the
Santo
president...
Domingo?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, nice.
That's near the president's palace.
Okay, so you're a city girl.
Here.
You were a city girl. You were a city girl.
A little bougie.
Yeah.
But even though I was raised there, right? That's La Capital. There's a difference between capitaleño and then other people that are not from the capital. They call it cibaeño.
Yeah. They make that distinction in Cuba. When I went to visit, like they called Cubans from Havana Habaneros, and then everybody else that was outside of the city because habaneros have that traditional Cuban accent that everybody knows Cubans for. Just like, you know, how people from Brooklyn have a very heavy, thick accent. They're known for that accent. That's what habaneros are known for, that famous accent that everybody makes fun of you as a Cuban, but everyone else outside of the city, really, they're Spanish. Like if you didn't know they were Cuban, you wouldn't be able to figure it out through their accent. It was very, very neutral. So it's funny that it's the same way in DR. How long did you live in DR before you actually came back to Brooklyn?
Till I think I was like 6.
Okay.
The thing is, my family, they raised me in La Capital, but my mother, my grandmother, most of my aunts, except for the one that is from the capital, she is from the campo, son del campo, and so I have like a mix of cibaeño and capitaleño. My speech, when I go to the Dominican Republic and I speak like a capitaleña, right?
Right.
But when I dance like a cibaeña.
Right.
You see?
Right. Quick question for you. Growing up, once you came back to New York, how did you navigate the blend of Dominican culture at home with the wider culture around you? Because we are a very multicultural city. And a lot of times being from different cultures, you know, you always had to kind of like, I don't want to say validate yourself, but almost explain who you are amongst other cultures around you.
For me, it was a little different in that when I came back at an early age, I had to learn English. Like, I didn't know English, even though I'm American and I'm from Brooklyn. And my mom doesn't, now she speaks English, but back then she didn't speak English. So our household was 100% Dominican all the time.
Right.
But when I would go to school, I'm here picking up stuff. I'm picking up English. I'm picking up behaviors. Some behaviors were cool. Some behaviors I got really checked on, like talking back. Won't have none of that in the household. But I saw that a lot of other students that are not of Dominican descent, they had more kind of like Socratic dialogue with their parents. And I was like, I want that. I tried that. It didn't work.
Right.
It didn't work out for me.
Right.
But that's how I kind of started morphing into what I am now. I was accepting what I liked from the culture, not rejecting anything, but respecting things that were part of my culture, but that I didn't always align with.
Right. So there's adoption, right? So there's adoption of things from the island, from the city that made everything that you are today. And how did that connect to the proposal for the bid you were putting in for the business?
Oh, for the GQ Hub.
Yes.
It's called the GQ Hub, the Green Economy Entrepreneurial Education Hub of East New York. I worked with the Brisa Builders, University, and Grow Brownville, and we sat down as people who are from East New York, because even though I was raised in Bushwick, as an adult, when I wanted to move out, venture out, and purchase real estate, you know, Bushwick by then had become very gentrified. So I was like, I mean, I could put all my money in Bushwick and get a very small space, or I could venture out and get more space. And so that's when I fell in love with East New York, owned property there, and really learned a lot about the deserts. Not only food deserts, but there's just a lot of resource deserts for Hispanics, for Blacks, for many of us. Resources like there's no spaces. If you wanted to go right now in East New York and go sit down with your laptop and read or hang out and just meditate, there's not like a space like that. Or if you wanted to go and learn about something hands-on, right now the economy is moving more into blue-collar work and people using their hands. There's not a lot of spaces where people can go and kind of do experiential learning or like hands-on learning. And so given that feedback, given where we're from right now, if you had like a group of kids who wanted to play el acordeon, which is an instrument of the Dominican Republic, very popular, or a bachatero, they would have to go to either to a park or find a place that their friends let them practice. And so you don't even have resources to allow musical freedom. Or expression. And so we were like, no, we need to have a place. We need to have a place for Black and brown people to come and do these things.
It's interesting you said that, because that's so part of our culture when you go back to the islands, where music and arts, it's out in the open. You know what I mean? It's just part of the fabric where you don't necessarily have to seek it. It's just there as part of your everyday. Again, when I went to Cuba, the music experience was something I had never seen. The only place second to Cuba and on par in terms of the music experience was when I went to Jamaica, where you literally go from cafe to nightclub, and the quality and the breadth of music talent, you know, no matter what part of the city you went to, and again, even with Jamaica, the quality and the amount and the breadth of it left me in awe, and almost, you know, made me proud of my culture. I was like, wow, this is really like ingrained in us. Like, Cuba's a little different in that because of the economy and the politics. That's kind of like all that they really have really to fall back on. But even having gone to Puerto Rico, because Puerto Rico's really like our sister country, you know, Cubans and Puerto Ricans, there's a connection there historically and culturally. And I experienced the same thing in Puerto Rico, or witnessed it. But to me, that was something that I think we try to do that here. And there's a, you know, it's a little bit more challenging. It's not as naturalized. We can just spill out into the street and throw up a band and just start, you know, making music on the fly at 12 o'clock at night. You know, I would walk through back alleys, and I would just, you know, with my cousin, and I would see like groups of kids just dancing together with a speaker. And I'm like looking around like, there's like 15 kids and they're here just practicing their dance moves. And I was like, this is amazing.
So what I'm hearing is a lot of the thesis, if you can see it, you can achieve it. So I think right now it's a really good opportunity to really show the fact that we have somebody here that's believing, seeing opportunity, creating something, and now there's going to be a younger generation that has you as an example of something that they can achieve or they can aspire to, which is really, really important. We come from working class families and immigrants, which I think is definitely the cornerstone of, I think, where Alex and I, our entrepreneurial spirit comes from. But I think seeing and showing right now this next generation what the opportunities are in cannabis, what the opportunities are for looking for public funding to create spaces that are inclusive, I think it's super important and really important. And again, props to you for creating that and building the spaces for arts, economy, science, learning, all to have space to breathe. So if we look at that through line, Alex, you and I are examples of that next generation, and hopefully we can actually be examples to the following generation.
Yeah.
Because as parents, that is our opportunity right now for our legacy to continue and for us to honor our heritage, especially in the month that we're in, and we get to highlight somebody as special as you.
Yeah.
You guys are doing great.
No,
I love what
thank
you're
you.
doing.
And so, Vikiana, because you are Dominican and because we live in a very diverse Latino city, and a lot of us see a lot of commonalities between all our, you know, collective cultures, whether you're Colombian, Puerto Rican, Cuban, Venezuelan, Dominican in your case, what would you say is a common misconception about Dominican culture that you'd like to correct?
So many. A misconception that all Dominicans can dance. Okay, no, that's true. One misconception is that they all can play dominoes. That is not true.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not talking about myself, but I've experienced it with others. One thing that is a misconception, not about Dominicans, but to Dominicans, can I give you one?
Yeah, sure.
Those whose parents have come here and have been working really hard, they tell us, go to school, do this. This is the place to make all your dreams happen. And so when you have parents who have left the island, you're under this impression like, okay, this is my home. I got to make it here, right? My parents worked hard. I got to work hard. And then you go back to the Dominican Republic as an adult and you kind of realize that a lot of things aren't as what you thought. Like going back to the Dominican Republic, seeing how people live there, they may not have all the material things, but their quality of life is better.
Right.
In addition to that, coming back here, my mind tends to go through a shift because now I travel often to the Dominican Republic as I'm a dual citizen. I have what's called my cédula.
Nice.
And I be carrying that around as a badge. I got my cellular, I stopped playing, right? But you realize that, wow, like this country loves me and I could be doing so many things here. Like I feel so good here. Whereas when you're here in New York, yeah, Brooklyn is my home. New York is my home. I love America, New York. But right now, I'm not feeling like America is showing me a lot of love.
Right.
For a while, you don't feel as a person of color, as a Hispanic person, as a black person, as a brown person. I'm talking about my own emotions. I haven't always felt that love. And so I'm like, wow, this is a big, I feel like, not that I've been lied to about this misconception, but I'm just like, wow, I went back as an adult and I could see myself here, coming back here, doing stuff here. So I would challenge anyone who has come from the Dominican Republic, from Puerto Rico, from Cuba, from Colombia, to go back if they can and see that for themselves. I think that's also why I'm such a Bad Bunny fan. Everybody knows that about
It always
me.
comes back to Bad Bunny somehow.
It's because he's brought that to light,
Yeah.
right? And he has brought to light how colonialization ain't all that. We ain't trying to be that.
Yeah.
And, you could be great in your own island. You don't have to be owned by a hegemonic country to be great.
I think you speak to a really good point of the American dream of the meritocracy. How could we help build that, inspire that in our motherlands and countries? I think there is that sense of being and belonging and honestly entitlement. Like I feel almost entitled that I should be a part of the island. I should have every one of these beaches free and open and part of our world when we're there. And we don't have that here. We're not entitled to as much when we're here. And as much as I love Brooklyn, as much as you, it made us. There is that connection to being in the Caribbean and having ownership and pride that is something I think translates to a lot of people as well that aren't from DR, PR, or Cuba, that they see and they feel it. Again, that sense of worth and that value that your culture, your parents, your family brings. It's very unique, and I think it's something that we should all take a second to pause and think about, because there is opportunity for us to bridge these two worlds and build opportunity similar to what you're doing in East New York. And how could we transplant that over into the island as well?
That's my next move.
There you go. There you go.
And I guess on that note, in light of Hispanic Heritage Month, I want to thank you, Vikiana, for giving us your time and sharing with us your insight and some of the achievements and more accomplishments to come. We're looking forward to it, to seeing your growth.
Always happy to have a home and a hub here at Bodega NYC to bring friends and colleagues here to talk, to inspire, to build to the future. And with that, thank you again.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And we're out. Peace.